Uh, Luke chapter 19. Luke chapter 19. Luke is in the New Testament. Luke is in the New Testament, which is in the back half of the Bible where you find the story of Jesus. But how much of the Bible is about Jesus? How much of the Bible is about Jesus? Beautiful. New Testament, second half. Luke chapter 19. Luke chapter 19. If you got it, you with me? You got it? You got it? If you got it, say yeah. You were late because you were talking. Yeah, Pie College. All right, here we go. This is such a familiar story, but I love it. I love it because this guy, I don't know if you guys know that there's stories in the Bible about gangsters. And this is the most gangsterous dude in the whole Bible, outside of Jesus. Jesus rolled deep at all times. All right. Anybody who can take 5,000 people to lunch is gangster. All right, so Jesus is the best. But this guy was pretty dang hood. All right, so Luke chapter 19, I'm going to read verses 1 through 10. If you don't have a Bible, it's on the iPhone 30 behind me. Ready? It says this. Jesus entered Jericho and made his way through the town. There was a man there named Zacchaeus. Somebody say Zacchaeus. He was the chief tax collector in the region, and he had become very rich. Somebody say rich. That was like the most excited. Why y'all all of a sudden? Okay, earlier I said say Jesus, and you guys didn't even hear me. Say rich. Yeah. That was prophetic. All right, here we go. He tried to get a look at Jesus, but he was too short to see over the crowd. So Jeremy felt that. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore tree beside the road, for Jesus, someone say Jesus, was going to pass that way. When Jesus came by, he looked up at Zacchaeus and called him by name. Zacchaeus, he said, quick, come down. I must be a guest in your home today. Zacchaeus quickly climbed down and took Jesus to his house in great excitement and joy. But the people were displeased. Jesus went to a sinner's house, but the people were displeased. But the haters were displeased. But the church people were displeased. But though I think I'm better than people, were displeased. He has gone to be the guest of a notorious sinner, they grumbled. Meanwhile, someone say meanwhile. Zacchaeus stood before the Lord and said, I will give half my wealth to the poor. Lord, and if I have cheated people on their taxes, I will give them back 4 times as much. Jesus responded, salvation has come to this home today. For this man has shown himself to be a true son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and save those who are lost. Come on, girl. Lord, we thank you for your word. We thank you that your word's alive. Lord, we firmly believe that your word can shape us, can carve us, and more than anything else, make us more like you. So we ask that you do exactly that tonight. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, I've got very limited time, but that's okay, because I have a very short message. In fact, my message is so small, I just put it on a sticky note right there in my Bible. True story. Before I do that, I have to honor someone who is growing fastly to be such an incredible, I don't do this often, but when I think of it, I just do it. Incredible young lady in our ministry and in this church. I've seen her grow and develop so quickly into being really more of a student leader and a student influencer. I love the fact that she has an incredible influence at her school. I'm incredibly just proud of the young lady that she is. I truly, truly see her like as my own kid. And sometimes she spends that long at my house where I feel like she's my own kid and eats all my food. But she just had a birthday. Iana, stand up, girl. Happy birthday. I love you. 17 and ready to mingle, all right? Yeah, see? Y'all thought I was playing. Help her, Lord. All right. Okay, if you're taking notes, which I hope you are, this message is called Zach's House. Zach's House. Because I don't want to say Zacchaeus' house a bunch of times. So if you're new here, the past few weeks we've been in this series called Harvesters. And in the Harvesters series, we have just been talking about how we firmly believe that that Jesus, I'm gonna kind of do the spoiler right away, that Jesus came down to the earth to save us. We're all born sinners, but Jesus came to this earth so that we don't have to pay the punishment of our sin. Jesus died in our place, and then he rose again, and now he's up in heaven with a place for us. All we have to do is say yes to him and his free gift of salvation, correct? Man, I got 2 believers. We believe in the salvation message here? All right. You guys are all happy about Rich. Okay, so Harvesters is about the fact that Jesus didn't save us just to be saved and here on earth and to have a place in heaven someday. Jesus saved us so that we can be used by him to go out and touch others. Correct? And I firmly believe that the best way to learn to be like Jesus is to read about Jesus. So this story is about Jesus out being a harvester himself. I've got good news for a few other people in here. There are some people in here who don't believe in Jesus. And guess what? That's okay. If you don't believe in Jesus, and if the name Jesus offends you, that's okay. Listen to this message and just use it as a way to make a difference in other people's life, no matter who you believe in, all right? What youth pastor says that, but we got to start somewhere. Okay, Luke chapter 19. So first thing is this. It says that Jesus entered Jericho and made his way through the town. First note, already, write this down. Jesus was active and made himself available. If we're going to be harvesters, we cannot do that in our room, mad at the world, and not wanting to be social at any point. Guys, as harvesters, as people who want to make a difference in the lives of others, I challenge you to be active. I'm not saying you have to be the captain of every sport and you have to be super deep in student council or anything like that, but find ways to be active. You weren't saved to be hidden. You weren't saved to be tucked away. You were saved to go out and be a difference maker. I love how the Bible says that you are the salt and light. You're the light of the world. And it says that no one hides a light, correct? Guys, Jesus made a choice to be active. Jesus made a choice to be active. And it says that he was made his way through the town, and there was a man there named Zacchaeus. He was a chief tax collector, right? Telling the story. Just to give some background, if you don't know anything, the reason I call him a gangster, a tax collector was a person who had a job, even these days, that most people don't like. No offense if your parents like a tax collector or anything. But the reason they were so notorious is because they were almost like guys from the mob, to where they purposely would steal from people on top of doing their actual job, right? That's what a tax collector would do. So tax collectors had a lot of money, which means they had a lot of influence and they had a lot of fans. I wouldn't say they had a lot of friends, but they had a lot of fans, because think about it. Anyone who makes a lot of money and is flashy about their money and doesn't care much about their money, they're gonna get a lot of fans because they're willing to spend it, just like a mobster, just like a gangster, as you see in movies and different things. That was Zacchaeus. That was Zacchaeus. And here's the crazy thing about it. It says when Jesus was going through Jericho, he looked up in the tree, which is, there's a whole nother message I can talk about with Zacchaeus trying to get to Jesus, but we're going to talk about Jesus getting to Zacchaeus. But he looked up in the tree and he called him by name. He called him by name. Write this down. Jesus made an effort to really know people. To really know people. It is so easy to stay in your bubble. It is so easy to have casual relationships. One thing, I can't remember who it was, but there was a family who was new to our church, and it was like their third or fourth time coming, and someone said, man, you guys have really become strong members now, and it seems like you're going through your next steps. What is it that brought you back, Corellia? What is it that brought you back? And they said, our second time here, the person at the front door remembered our name. There's research, actual psychological research, that says a person's favorite sound is their own name. Why? Because it represents recognition. It represents a new layer of comfort between you and that person. Everyone wants to feel known. Everyone wants to feel recognized. Jesus made an effort to really know people, Guys, learning names is so important, but I think it goes much deeper than that. Understanding, taking time to hear people's story when you interact with them. I think it's important to really, if you're gonna be a harvester, you've gotta really know people. No one will allow themselves to be influenced or discipled by someone who's trying to do that by way of a shallow relationship. All right, harvesters, we can do this. Number 3. So actually, before I get to number 3, I'm sorry. He says to Zacchaeus, quick, come down. I must be a guest in your home today. I must be a guest in your home today. You know what Jesus didn't say to Zacchaeus? Jesus initially didn't say to Zacchaeus, come follow me and do everything I do. He said, let me come to your house. Let me come to your world. Let me see how you live. And with Jesus inviting himself, you know what Zacchaeus knew right away? That Jesus wasn't going to be coming to his world judgmental, because he invited himself. Why would he invite himself to a place where he was going to call like, oh, this is terrible, this is awful? Jesus was like, I'm going to invite myself to your house, which is number 3, is this. Jesus invaded the lives of those he wanted to reach. Invaded the lives. That doesn't mean rude. That doesn't mean barging in. That doesn't mean forcing yourself into a friendship. Remember, this all has to be relational. This is not someone, like, don't be that weirdo. It's like, can I come over? To somebody you don't even know, all right? Okay? Jesus invaded the lives. So you know what that means simply and practically? That means instead of just inviting that kid to youth over and over and over and over, and you're like, man, he never comes. How about you go to a soccer game? Invite them over and over and over. Actually, if you're begging them to come to youth or begging them to come to church or begging them to join you in a Bible reading plan or something, but they keep saying no, but they keep inviting you to their birthday party, to their game, or to join their club or to come watch their drama, and you keep saying no, do you realize where the pattern is? Invade their lives. Be a part of what they're doing. I have so many, I'm not gonna say it. Okay, keep going. I have so many fake conversations. I act interested in so many things. I'm not gonna name them off because it might be some of you guys in here, but I act so interested in things. Why? Because if it means something to them, I'm gonna find a way to make it mean something to me. Because I wanna be in a relationship with them, and to be honest, the more I talk to them and the more I hear about it, maybe I do grow in love with something else. Maybe I do start to find a new interest. But sometimes I just, man, did you see the hockey game? I didn't, but I know they're into it, you know? You guys get what I'm saying? Invade other people's lives, all right? So Zacchaeus climbed down from the tree, took Jesus to his house, and here's the part that trips me out. You ready? And I'm gonna detour just for a second, but I only have 4 minutes. The people that I was talking about, they grumbled about Jesus going to the sinner's house. They grumbled about Jesus going to the sinner's house. But I love how in this version, while they're grumbling, the next verse says, meanwhile, Zacchaeus stood before the Lord and said, I will give half my wealth to the poor. Check this out. You look up the definition of the word meanwhile, means basically at the same time. It means basically at the same time. So while they're saying, I'm much better than him, why is Jesus hanging out with them? Why are they allowed to come to church? Why are they allowed to serve? Why are they allowed to sing? While at the same time, Jesus is doing a work on that person's heart. That's why at City Youth, we're not gossipers. That's why at City Youth, we say these doors are open for everybody. That's why at City Youth, we say we love on people despite their story. We love on people despite their downfall. We love on people despite their journey, because we don't know what Jesus is doing in their heart. Our job is to go out and love on them. Jesus' job is to change them. All right? Moving on. We're almost there. This is the cool part. Zacchaeus, his big announcement, his big declaration is he's like, I'm giving money back. I'm giving money back. I stole a bunch of money, but I'm giving money back. You know what Jesus responds with? He didn't say that's a bad thing. He didn't say, oh man, there's something else you can do. Jesus declared what was important. He said, salvation has come to this home today. Number 4 is this. Jesus focused on what is most important. Guys, sometimes we fail at this. Sometimes we work so hard to build a relationship with somebody. We work so hard for them to like us. We work so hard to really like them and get to know them and build some type of rapport and maybe to have influence with them. But sometimes we work so hard on that we lose track of the fact that we're trying to reach them for Jesus. Let's remember what's most important. The last thing I want is for people to be in this youth ministry for 7 years, from 6th grade all the way to senior year, just to say, I went to a bunch of sleepovers at Tyrone's house, went to a bunch of camps, a bunch of conferences, and now I'm not sure what I feel about Jesus. Then that means we didn't preach and teach and lead into what's most important, all right? And the last thing is this. I'm going to have you guys stand up, actually. The last thing is this. I'm going to have you guys stand up. After Jesus said that, he said, salvation has come to this home today, for this man has shown himself to be a true son of Abraham. In the last verse, it says, for the Son of Man came to seek and save those who were lost. Number 5 is this. Jesus understood his role. Jesus understood his role as a harvester. I'm asking you, every single one of you tonight, to understand the role, the privilege, and the opportunity you have as a harvester. But there's some of you who may not have made that decision before. Some of you may not even know what it means to be a harvester. You don't understand what the blood of Jesus actually did for you. You don't understand what that story actually means and the impact of the fact that you don't have to spend eternity in hell because of who Jesus is. And you're going to find out more about that in your groups tonight. So Lord, I thank you for each and every one of these students. I thank you for the opportunity to have groups. I thank you, God, that we can discuss, reflect, and really look onto your word to find out for us what it means, who you want us to be, and how you want us to be. Lord, help us to be harvesters. Help us to be people that make a difference because of the difference you made in our lives. In Jesus' name, amen.